morning, class 11th. Today we are going to talk about solutions of triangles in trigonometry. This is the last chapter of your syllabus of trigonometry. We are going to discuss certain things which are very basic, but even then I'm going to revise them for you to understand. For example, there is a triangle ABC. It is any triangle. You know the angles are represented by the capital letters, like A is angle A, B is angle B, C is angle C. They are also called as vertices of the triangle. At point A, the angle A is formed. It will be called angle A. We represent it by a capital letter. At vertex B, the angle B is formed. We call it angle B and represent it by capital letter. Similarly, C. Now, just opposite to angle A, the side BC is represented by the small letter A. BC is a small a, just opposite to A. Just opposite to B, we have a small b. AC is small b. And opposite to capital C, this is capital C, we have a small c, which represents the side AB. You know what parameter of the triangle is? Parameter of any figure is the sum of all the sides of the bounded figure. For example, here it's a triangle, so the sum of all the three sides, if I add all the three sides, length of all the three sides, I'll get the parameter. A plus B plus C is called the parameter of the triangle. But I'm interested in semi-parameter. Which is S. This you can mark it with P, parameter, and semi-parameter is represented by S, which is half of the parameter, A plus B plus C upon 2, or we call it 2S is equal to A plus B plus C. These are the few things which we are going to come across when we are going to discuss solution of the triangle. So we must know what are the basics there. For example, A plus B plus C is equal to 2S. These are some of the terms which will come later in your calculations. So just to look at them and identify them when you're dealing with the problem may help you in solving the problems. Like if I subtract 2C from both the sides, plus C minus 2C, 2S minus 2C. What will I get? A plus B minus C. It could be minus, I could subtract minus 2B also, I could subtract minus 2A also. So 2 into S minus C. It will become 2 into S minus C. Now you know that A plus B whole square minus C square. Suppose I have to factorize this. This kind of a situation is there, and this kind of factors you have done always. A plus B whole square minus C square. It will be A plus B plus C once you add them, once you subtract them. A plus B minus C. So A plus B minus C, A plus B minus C whole square is actually A plus B plus C is S. The value of A plus B plus C is, 2S. And A plus B minus C is how much? A plus B minus C is 2 into S minus C. So it could be A plus B whole square minus C square could be 4S into S minus C. So sometime when you get across these kind of things, A plus B whole square minus C square, it can be replaced by 4S into S minus C, which is where S is the semi-parameter. And if it is something else, instead of C minus C, like I said, you can take minus 2B minus 2A depending upon what kind of a situation. But this is just a basic understanding for this. Now let us see how to calculate the area of a triangle. Like if I talk of the area of this triangle, a very general formula is area is S into S minus A into S minus B into S minus C, where S is the semi-parameter, which is S is A plus B plus C upon 2. A is A plus B plus C upon 2. You can calculate semi-parameter. S is the semi-parameter. S into S minus A into S minus B, S minus C. You have done questions based on this when you must have done in class 8th or 9th the areas of the triangle. Otherwise, suppose this is the triangle ABC, and if I drop a perpendicular here, suppose I drop a perpendicular D, suppose this is P1. P1 is the length of the perpendicular dropped from the vertex A to the side BC. P1 is the length of the perpendicular dropped from vertex A to side BC. Then we say area of triangle is half base into height. Half base is BC, height is P1. Area is represented by delta. Area of a triangle is also represented by delta. A bigger triangle indicates delta. Area of the triangle is also represented by delta. Half base here is A, small a, into P1. So I can calculate P1 from here. P1 will be 2 in delta upon A. 2 delta upon A. If you have to calculate the height of the triangle and you know the area and the base, then you can use this formula. Similarly, if suppose P2 is the perpendicular here and P3 is the perpendicular here, then P2 could be equal to 2 delta upon B and P3 could be equal to 2 delta upon C, depending upon which vertex and which side we are taking to drop the perpendicular. If I am dropping perpendicular from the vertex A to BC, then P1 will be, P1 is this perpendicular, which is 2 delta upon A. If I am taking this as the base and I am dropping this perpendicular, then obviously perpendicular length will be this P2 will be 2 delta upon B, and if this is taken, then 2 delta upon C. These are just general formulas for you to understand. Sometime you may come across them, so we will solve them. Next very important definition is about the median, which we have discussed earlier also, but we are going to discuss again to your benefit. Like I'm taking a different shape, little ABC is any triangle. ABC is any triangle. Median is a line segment joining the vertex of the triangle to the midpoint of the opposite side. For example, if D is the midpoint of BC, D is the midpoint of BC, D is the midpoint of BC, and if I join A to D, then AD is called the median. There are 3 medians of a triangle. If I join C to the midpoint of AB, and if I join B to the midpoint of AC, I will get 2 more medians. And all the 3 medians will pass through a point which is called centroid. G is called centroid. Centroid is the point of concurrence of median. The 3 medians are concurrent at centroid. 3 medians of the triangle are concurrent and centroid. We told you also centroid divides the median in the ratio of 2:1. It always divides it in the ratio of 2:1. The median is divided by centroid in the ratio of 2:1. This we have discussed earlier too. Now, there is another property about the median regarding the side of the triangle, that if D is the midpoint of BC and AD is the median, then AB square plus AC square. Square of the side plus the square of the side is equal to twice the square of the median, AD square, plus either you can take BC square or I can take also BD square. I can also take BD square. Either I can take DC square, I can take BD square, because BD and DC both are same, so any of the sides could be taken. The square of the side containing the median, whichever the median is there. If I am taking AD is the median, then this is the side and this is the side which starts the point A. Suppose I take this point B, then I would take BC square plus BA square. And I will say whatever the median, length of the median is square plus half of this. If I take C as the vertex and from C I drop the median here, then I would take AC square plus BC square will be equal to double of the median drop from here and half of this side. So we are saying, we are taking one particular case in where AD is the median. From A I have joined the midpoint of BC, D is the midpoint of BC, and I am saying AB square plus AC square. The square of AB plus the square of AC is equal to double of AD square, the median, 2 into AD square plus BC square. Double the squares, addition of squares of AD and half of this. Now AB means, AB is what? C square. AB is C square. What is AC? AC is B square. AB is small c, AC is small b, is equal to 2 AD square, and this is DC is half of A. This complete length is A, BC is A. So A upon 2 whole square. It is A upon 2 whole square. What is A? A is the complete length BC. A is the complete length BC. So A upon 2 whole square. Now let's see what do we get. C square plus B square will be 2, and I will take AD square plus A square upon 4. Because when you square it, A square and 2 square will become 4. Let's take the LCM 4. If I take the LCM 4 and take it out, it will become 4AD square plus A square is equal to C square plus B square. It becomes equal to C square plus B square. Now what I am going to do is, it will cancel. So cross multiply 2 into C square plus B square. When I multiply this side, I will get AD square plus 4AD square plus A square. So I am basically going to calculate the length of the median. So 4AD square will be equal to 2 into C square plus B square and minus A square. 4AD square will become equal to 2C square plus B square minus A square, or AD square will be equal to 2C square plus B square minus A square upon 4. And when I'll calculate AD, since it is a length, I'll take it positive, not negative. AD will be equal to, actually it should be a modulus. So under root 2 C square plus B square minus A square upon 2. Square root of 4 is 2. This is the length of the median. This is the length of the median. I mean, whether it will be used sometime or not, but I'm sure somewhere or else it is going to help you. This is the length of the median, AD. Similarly, if from B to E, suppose B, if I join B to G, then I'll get E the midpoint here, and if I join C to G, I'll get F as the midpoint. So in each case I can calculate B as the median. What will be B is the median? Like AD is the median of C square plus B square 2 of c square plus b square minus a square upon 2. Similarly, I can get, if I write down, okay, I'll write down here. If I write b will be what? Now b will be, this is what? A square, and this is what? C square. So 2 of a square plus c square minus b square upon 2. Similarly, if I want to calculate CF will be what? CF will be, this will be a square, this side is a square, and this side will be b square. So 2 into a square plus b square minus c square upon 2. So we have been able to calculate the length of all the three medians in terms of ABC. After that, I can calculate the length AG as well as length GD. I'll show you just now. Let me go through it once again for you. AG is to GD is 2:1, G is the centroid. The property of the median is that when median is there, then the square of the sides which contains the sum of the squares of the side which contain the median, like AB is C square, AC is B square. So C square plus B square should be equal to double the sum of the squares of median, sum of the square of the median plus half of the base, A by 2 here. So 2 AD square plus A upon 2 whole square. When I open this, AD square plus A square upon 4, I simplify and I get the value of AD as that. This is just plain simple calculation which you can do. AD is equal to under root 2 c square plus b square minus a square upon 2. Similarly, on the basis of this, I have written the values of BE and CF also. Now I want to calculate, suppose I want to calculate the value of AG. Let me calculate the value of AG. AG will be 2/3 of AD. AG will be 2/3 of AD, because what is the ratio? 2:1. So this will be 2/3 of AD, and 2/3 of AD means what? 2 of C square plus B square minus A square upon 2, because this is the value of AD if you look at there. So 2 will cancel, it will become 2C square plus B square minus A square upon 3. This is AG. Similarly, if I want to calculate BG will be what? 2/3 of BE. 2/3 of BE. So it will be 2A square plus C square minus B square upon 3. Just 2 is replaced by 3. And if I want to calculate CG, it will be 2A square plus B square minus C square upon 3. I have calculated the upper portion AG. I can calculate GD also. GD will be 1/3. GD will be 1/3 of AD. Similarly, GE will be 1/3 of BE, and GF will be 1/3 of CF. And what will those values will be? If I want to calculate GD, for example, GD will come out to be 2C square plus B square minus A square upon 6. In the first it was 2, in this case it was 3, and in the third case it is 6. And if I want to calculate, suppose GE, then it will be 2A square plus C square minus B square upon 6, because it will become 1/3 of that, and CG will become 2A a2 into a square plus b square minus c square upon 6. So you've got the value of medians, you've got the portion of the medians AG as well as GD, BG as well as GE, CG and GF also. So this is the calculation of the medians. Now let us talk of the next important law. Before that, let me tell you something more. Before I go for sine rule, in a triangle ABC, in a triangle ABC, A plus B plus C is always 180 degree. You will realize that in a triangle sine A, sine B and sine C will be always positive. Why will they be positive? Whether A is acute, whether A is obtuse. Please remember that we had drawn this kind of a coordinates. The two lines, the vertical lines, two lines which are perpendicular to each other divide the whole Cartesian plane into 4 coordinates. In the first quadrant, all trigonometric ratios are positive. In the second one, it is only sine, add sugar to coffee. So in the first quadrant, all trigonometric ratios are positive. So sine A, sine B, sine C, if they are in the first quadrant, meaning they're by 0 to 90, that means acute, they will be positive. Even if the sine comes into the, only one angle can become, in a triangle only one angle can be obtuse, can't be more than one angle obtuse, then construction of triangle will not be possible. So even if it becomes here, sine will be even than positive. So all will be greater than 0. That means all will be positive. Sine A, sine B, sine C, all will be positive. In case of cos A, cos B and cos C. In case of cos A, cos B and cos C, what will happen? One of them will be negative. One of them can be negative. One of them can be negative. Then can be negative. What does it mean? Can be negative. You see, if ABC are acute, there is no problem. But if one of the angles becomes obtuse, then cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta. Cos will be negative here. Cos will be negative here. That is why it becomes like that. Now, if it is, suppose sine A plus B. Sine A plus B will be always equal to sine 180 minus C. Because A plus B will be 180 minus C, so sine A plus B will be sine 180 minus C. And this is sine C only. But if it is cos A plus B, it will be equal to cos 180 minus C, and it will be minus cos C. If it is 10 A plus B, then it will be 10 180 minus theta, 180 minus C, and again 180 minus 10 will be negative here, so minus 10 C. So sin A plus B will be equal to sin C, sin A plus B will be equal to minus cos C, and 10A plus B will be equal to minus 10C. The application of this can come while we are solving. We are looking at the solution of right angle, solution of triangles, solution of triangles. Now we talked about sin A plus B as sin 180 minus C, because if A plus B can be written as 180 minus C here, then we took the sine of both the sides. Sin A plus B became sin A, 180 minus C became sin C. 180 minus sin 180 minus theta is sin theta. Cos A plus B will become cos 180 minus C. Cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta. 10A plus B will be 10 180 minus C, is equal to minus 10c. Now if I take the half angles, suppose let me take the half angles now. If I take the half angles, like I took a plus b plus c is equal to 180, I can take a upon 2 plus b upon 2 plus c upon 2 is equal to 90, or pi upon 2, pi upon 2. Then again a by 2 plus b by 2 will be pi by 2 minus c by 2. In this case, what will happen is sine a by 2 plus b by 2 will become equal to sine pi by 2 minus c by 2, and that will become cos c by 2. Cos 90 minus theta is cos theta, and cos a by 2 plus b by 2 will become cos pi by 2 minus c by 2, that will become sine c by upon 2, and 10 a by 2 plus b by 2 will become 10 pi by 2 minus c by 2, and obviously this will become cot c by 2. These things already you know, but just to revise for you, I just did that. Now after this we are going to look into the first rule, the sine rule. What is the sine rule? For example, I have a triangle ABC, and I bisect all the three sides and find a point O, the circumcenter. O is the circumcenter of the triangle. How do we find the circumcenter? We bisect all the three sides, perpendicular bisect the three sides, and the perpendicular bisectors of the sides will be concurrent at one point O, which will be equidistant from A, B and C. And if I take O as center and take a circle, we pass through all the 3 points. This circle will pass through all 3 points, and this point O is called the circumcenter. O is called circumcenter. Now if I join O to A and O to C, this side will be equal to this side. Obviously this is the radius. Suppose it is capital R. It is capital R. Now if this angle, suppose this angle is 2A, this angle is 2A, this angle is A, suppose this angle is A, this angle is A, obviously this angle A, then this angle will be 2A, this angle will be 2A. You know the property of the circle, the double angle property. The angle described at the center of the circle is double the angle which it is described at the remaining part of the circumference constructed by the same circumference. The circumference BC is making an angle BOC at the center, and this is making the same circumference is making an angle, same arc is making an angle BAC at the circumference. So the relation is that angle BOC is double of angle BAC. So if this angle is A, if I drop a perpendicular here, you know this is an equilateral, this is an isosceles triangle, and if I drop, it is also the property of a circle that a perpendicular drop from the center of a circle to any chord bisects the chord. Suppose this is D. So BD will be equal to DC. BD will be equal to DC because OD is perpendicular. And because this angle is A, so these complete angle will be 2A. Each part will be AA because we said this angle will be 2A. And this, when I'll drop a perpendicular, it will bisect the vertex also. It will bisect the vertex also. So this angle will become X, this angle will become A. This is A, this is A, this is A. This total angle is 2A, double of this angle. But because I have dropped a perpendicular and bisected angle BOC. Bisected means this automatically the vertical angle is bisected by the perpendicular. That is another property of the isosceles triangle. A perpendicular drawn from the vertex to the opposite side bisects the vertical angle as well. So now let us see, this is all R, this will be also R. If I join this to this will be also R radius. It is called circumradius. It is called circumradius. This angle is A, this angle is A. Let me take this triangle. Let me take this right angle triangle. Let me take this right angle triangle O, B and D. Let me take the right angle triangle OBD. In triangle OBD. In triangle OBD. In triangle OBD, this is A, this is R, and this side will be how much? BD will be half of DC. This will be actually A upon 2. This is A upon 2. This will be also A upon 2. Because this is angle A, so this complete side is A. So BD is equal to DC will be A upon 2. Now let us find out what is sine of this angle A. Sine of angle A. Sine A is perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Perpendicular upon hypotenuse. What is the perpendicular? A upon 2. Hypotenuse is R. Hypotenuse is R. So what can I write? Sine A will be equal to A upon 2R. Or I can write 2R sine A is equal to A. Or what can I write? A upon sine A is equal to 2R. Or I can write A upon sine A is equal to 2R. This is when I have taken this side. Similarly, B upon sine B will be equal to 2R. A upon sine A is equal to 2R. On the similar basis, B upon sine B will be equal to 2R. And similarly, C upon sine C will be equal to 2R. A upon sine A came out to be 2R. I'll take sine A to that side. A upon sine A will be equal to 2R. B upon sine B is equal to 2R. C upon sine B, C is equal to 2R. If I combine them, A upon sine A, B upon sine B is equal to C upon sine C is equal to 2R. It is always 2R means a constant. Constant. Any constant. Now, if I reverse this whole thing, sine A upon A, sine B upon B, sine C upon C will also be 1 upon 2R. It should be another constant. This is called the sine law or the sine rule. This is called the sine law and the sine rule, where you know the sides of the triangle. The relation is between the sides of the triangle and the sine of the angles of the triangle. A upon sine A is equal to B upon sine B is equal to C upon sine B is equal to constant. I reverse this. Sine A upon A is equal to sine B upon B is equal to sine C upon C is equal to K is the sine rule. It is called the sine rule, and it is very important law for solution of triangle. We will be applying it for the questions when I'll be picking up the question. This is called sine rule. Once again, O is the circumcenter of this triangle. ABC is any triangle. ABC is any triangle. O is the circumcenter. Circumcenter means if with O as center and A, B or C, OA, OB or OC as radius, I draw a circle it will pass through point A, B and C, and O will be equidistant from A, B and C. So O is called the circumcenter. OA, OB and OC are called circumradius. The angle subtended by an arc at the center, the angle subtended by the arc, suppose BC is the arc, it subtends the angle at the center O. This angle will be always double of the angles subtended by the same arc at the remaining part of the circumference. This is a theorem which we have done in standard 10. The angle at the center is double the angle at the circumference. So if this angle is A, this will be 2A. But what I have done is I have dropped a perpendicular from O to BC. I have dropped a perpendicular from O to BC. So perpendicular will bisect the base. You can apply the property of isosceles triangle. This is an isosceles triangle. It will hold for that also. And also it is the property of a circle that if from the center of a circle I drop a perpendicular to any chord, it bisects the chord. So this perpendicular will bisect the chord BC. BD is equal to DC. BD is A upon 2, DC is also A upon 2. Why? Because BC is A. The whole length BC is what? A. Opposite to A is small a. So BD is equal to DC, A upon 2, A upon 2. Now in this triangle, this angle is A, this angle is A, because the perpendicular from the vertex also bisects the vertical angle in case of an isosceles triangle. So because these two triangles are congruent to each other. These two triangles are going to be congruent to each other because you see OB will be equal to OC, radii of the circle. This is common and this is right angle. So these are going to be similar, these are going to be congruent triangles. So this angle will be equal to this angle. Now I calculated sine A of this angle. I calculated sine A, perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Perpendicular is the side opposite, A upon 2. Hypotenuse is R, so A upon 2R. Or when we cross multiply it, we can get A upon sine A as 2R. Similarly, when we drop perpendicular to this side and perpendicular to this side, we can get B upon sine B is equal to 2R, C upon sine B is equal to, C upon sine C is equal to 2R. If A is here, A is here. If the side is small a, the angle is sine A. If the side is B, the angle is sine B. If it is C, the angle is sine C. So A upon sine A is equal to B upon sine B is equal to C upon sine C is equal to 2R. If I even reverse and make it sine A upon A or sine B upon B, sine C upon C, 1 upon 2R will be another constant because 2R is a constant. So the reverse of the constant will also be a constant. This formula A upon sine A or B upon sine B or C upon sine B is equal to constant, or sine A upon A or is equal to sine B upon B or equal to sine C upon C is equal to constant is also called the sine rule. It is called sine rule. Okay, next formula after sine rule I am going to talk about is projection formula. Like this is a triangle ABC, any triangle which has got obviously this is side C, this is side B and this side is A. This side is A. Now I will calculate in terms of B, this BD, in terms also DC. Actually BD is the projection. If you have knowledge of little bit of vector, then BA's projection on this line is BD and CA's projection on line BC is AC. If you put the light from top, then the shadow of this line AB will fall on here and that is called the projection. Similarly, if I put light from the top, the shadow of AC will fall on this line and that will be DC. They are called projections. They are called projection vectors. Now let us see in triangle ABD. In triangle ABD. Let me calculate BD. BD is base. Base upon hypotenuse is cos theta. Base upon hypotenuse is cos theta, cos B. Not theta here, the angle is B. So BD will be C cos B. The C is small c, the side C. Similarly, if I want to calculate AD is perpendicular upon hypotenuse will be equal to sine B, or AD will be equal to C sine B. Now let us take this triangle. This has come as C cos B. C cos B. And this has come as what? This has come as C sine, not C sine. Now let me see in triangle ADC. Let me calculate DC. DC will be base upon hypotenuse will be equal to cos C. So DC will be equal to B cos C. This is B cos C. Now this length A would become, A would be equal to C cos B, C cos B plus B cos C. The C is small, remember. These ABC are the side. So I've got C, I've got A in terms of C and B. Suppose I want to calculate B, by the similarity I'll write B. Now in B it will come C cos A plus A cos C. And if I calculate C, it will be A cos B plus B cos A. These are called projection formulas. These are called projection formulas. A will be equal to, this length A will be equal to C of cos B plus B of cos C. C of cos B, B of cos C. The projection is on A. If projection on C will be of what? Will be of this A cos B. It will be A cos B plus B cos A plus B cos A. Similarly, the B will be equal to C cos C, C cos A plus A cos, C cos A plus A cos C. So these are the three formulas together taken are known as projection formulas. These are called projection formulas. So we have done this. We've done sine, medians, area of triangle. We've done saving perimeter. Now the last thing for today is the cosine formula. Cosine formula is also the same. Let's take triangle ABC. Drop a perpendicular here. This is angle B. This is angle C. Now this is D perpendicular. In triangle ABD, this will be how much? This is what? C. This is D. So in triangle ABD, this length BD, which is base upon hypotenuse C, will be cos B, or BD will be C cos B. C is small, please. And similarly, if I calculate AD upon hypotenuse C is equal to sine B, or AD will be C sine B. Similarly, let us take triangle ADC. In triangle ADC, what will I do? I'll calculate this. This came out to be C cos B. C cos B. And this will come out to be, this will come out to be B cos C. B cos C. So we will say perpendicular base upon hypotenuse, that is DC upon B will be cos C. So DC will be B cos C, which I have already written, like we wrote in the projection formula also. Now let us talk of AD. AD upon perpendicular upon hypotenuse, that is B is equal to sine C, or AD will be B sine C. So AD has been expressed as C sine B and also as B sine C. Either of them can be taken. Now let us take one of the triangles. Let's take one of the triangles and see what can we write. In right angle triangle ABD, in triangle ABD, in triangle ABD, let us apply Pythagoras theorem. In triangle ABD, let us apply Pythagoras theorem. The square described in the hypotenuse C square will be equal to BD square plus AD square. Now C square, BD square is C cos B. C cos B whole square. C cos B whole square. C cos B whole square. And AD is what? C cos B. I don't want to write C cos B. What am I going to write? It's AD square plus, what is AD? What is AD? I have C sine B. I want to write B sine C. So what am I going to write? Because C is involved here, let us write B sine C. AD square plus BD square. AD square does not make any difference. BD square. B sine C whole square. We write it as B sine C whole square. I have taken this. And how will I write the BD square? BD square I'll write A minus B cos C whole square. Why A minus B cos C whole square? Because it is sine square C is coming here. Here B cos square C will come and I will be able to combine them and get 1. If I would have written C cos B, then I would not have got here. So let us see this. C square is equal to B square sine square C plus square this. A square plus B square cos square C. Now you see this will combine. It will give you B square. B square sine square C plus B square cos square C sine square C plus cos square C will become 1. Minus 2AB cos C. Minus 2AB cos C. So it will be C square, as I said, combine this, sine square C plus cos square C plus A square minus 2AB cos C. It will become C square is equal to B square plus A square minus 2AB cos C. Now I'll bring AB cos C to one side, make it positive, 2AB cos C is equal to B square plus A square minus C square. B square plus A square, C square I transferred it. So B square plus A square minus C square. Or cos C will become what? B square plus A square minus C square upon 2AB. To remember this, when we are talking of cos C, we start A and square B square, not C square. C square comes as minus. And in denominator it will come A into B, 2A into B. Suppose I have to write cos A on the same basis. Cos A will be B square plus C square minus A square upon 2BC. And if I have to write cos B, then cos B will be A square plus C square minus B square upon 2AC. Now you have got the value of cos A, cos B and cos C, like we had got in sine formula, the value of sine A, sine B, sine C, sine A upon A, cos A upon A, sine B upon B is equal to sine C upon C is equal to a constant. Here we've got the values of cos C, cos A, cos B in terms of their sides. A square, B square, C. A, B, C are side. Similarly there, the relation was between angle and sine. Here the relation is between the side and cos of the angle. Cos A, cos B, cos C, and they are similar, you can see. When I took out cos C, it came B square plus A square. C came in the last, minus C square. So 2AB. When I'm writing cos A, then A square will come in the last, B square plus C square left upon 2BC. When I'm talking of cos B, B square will be the last, minus B square. So what is left? A square plus C square upon 2AC. This is the way to remember it. This is the way to remember it.